Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more Aerofly FS2. And it's been quite some time since I've been inside Aerofly FS2. Why am I in there tonight? Well, they have some updates that they put into play. They were in beta and they are now live. One of the most major updates is they've incorporated Vulkan, which I'm going to tell you right now has done wonders for the performance of this simulator, especially in VR. So tonight I'm going to go back into Aerofly FS2 and I'm going to hop into one of my absolute favorite World War II warbirds, the F4U Corsair, and I'm going to fly around Orbx's Chicago. So it's like we pretty much took a time machine and we're here at Meigs Field. Of course, Meigs Field no longer exists. It was bulldozed in the middle of the night by a mayor of Chicago a few years back. So this is pretty much all that we've got left, and this is probably as close as we're going to get to real life actually being at Meigs Field. But nonetheless, this is going to be our staging point for our little flight around Chicago. And I'm going to tell you right now, kids, do not try at home what I'm about to do. If this were real life, I'd probably be locked up with some of the maneuvers that I have planned. But before we take off, let me tell you a little bit about the Corsair, some of the improvements that they put in there. As you can tell, the engine is on. They have not yet made it so that we can do a cold and dark start. I'm hoping that is coming soon. I looked over the patch notes and I noticed a number of the aircraft now have fuel modeled as well as the electrical system. This is not one of those aircraft. They still have to work on this one. But one of the major improvements that they gave to this aircraft, you'll notice that my rudder pedals are all the way down, indicating I have parking brakes. That was a big bugbear of mine the entire time that I've used Aerofly FS2, was the fact that this aircraft does not have parking brakes. We know in real life they did not have parking brakes, and they still don't have parking brakes. Usually you just use wheel chocks. But they decided to throw that little portion of real life out and actually give us parking brakes, which I can't even tell you, IPAX, just how happy that one feature makes me. And then the other feature that makes me really, really happy is this little guy right here. You see this little red thing? This will allow me to finally close the canopy. Look at that. It's the little things in life that get me going, and this is one of them. Being able to open and close the canopy. Now, I did mod the Corsair several months back and figured out how to do that on my own, but now it's included in Aerofly FS2. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of that. They also removed the gun sight because, I mean, let's face it, we're not doing combat in Aerofly FS2, so it's kind of pointless to have a gun sight in here. Not to mention it blocks your view. So they got rid of that, and that was great. And I noticed that pretty much all of the switches, except for maybe like one or two, function. However, not all of the switches are active. For example, if I were to turn the battery off, the aircraft still stays on. Obviously, the electrical system is not incorporated just yet, but we'll keep our battery on. But stuff like the cowl flaps, those do work. You can see I just opened them up to full, and actually I'm going to close them to about 2/3, which is where they say they need to be when we're about to take off, which we're about to do. So the wind is blowing out of the south, so that means we are going to taxi out that way, and then we'll turn around and see if we can take off. But before I move off, one important thing that I'm going to need to do is set my trim. So I'm going to put our aileron trim to the right a little to compensate for this big, huge engine, and we'll put our elevator trim up 1 notch, and that'll help us get up. Rudder trim, we're also supposed to turn a little to the right, but I'm going to forego the rudder trim this time and just manually control the rudder as we're going down the runway. Hopefully I'll get it right. Alright, let's get those parking brakes off. Oh, that is so beautiful to see. Love it. And we're going to taxi out to runway 18, I believe it is. Now, since this is Orbx, you can expect high quality textures, and this is definitely no exception. I can't wait to see what else Orbx is going to bring to Aerofly FS2, and I do have this scenery for FSX. I don't know if the old FSX Steam version will translate well to prepared version 4.3, so I have not tested it yet, but I can tell you this is the best rendition of Meigs Field that I've seen in any simulator. So once again, Orbx has managed to knock it out of the park. We just have to decide which park it's gonna be. Those of you who are familiar with Chicago will get my little joke. Alright, here we are at the hold short line. Okay, a couple of things we need to set. The flaps, I'm going to drop them down 2 notches. I don't think we need to do any more than that, to be honest with you. Because even though this is not a very long field, this is the Windy City, so by the time we get up to rotate speed, this thing should basically just jump off the ground. I don't remember the control for the landing lights, so I'm going to forego that. I do have my position lights on. We can go outside and check that out real quick. Okay, position lights are on. Alright, I think we're just about set to go, so we'll get the parking brakes off again. And we'll mosey on out to the runway. I love the little 3D grass too. And look at those people on the other side of the fence. Oh my god, I've never seen them before. How many years now have I had this airport for FSX and I have never seen those 2 little people on the other side of the fence? That is too cool. Wow. Well, let me line up here. We're going to give them an air show. Hey there, folks. That's awesome. Alright, let me do a quick run up here. Make sure our prop pitch is full. Prop pitch is low. Prop pitch is full. Okay. Alright. Gauges are looking good. Okay, good deal. Alright, I don't know about you folks, but I am ready to see Chicago by air. Let's do this. We're about ready to rotate. We are airborne. Oh, this is awesome. All right, let me reset my trim here. Otherwise, we're going to be flying all over creation. So we'll trim her down a little while we gain some airspeed. And now it's starting to get a little bit loud and a little bit windy, so we're probably going to want to close our canopy. There we go. So hey, look at that. We've got one of the baseball diamonds there. I want to say that is probably for the Sox. I could be wrong. Could be the Cubs. I've only been to Chicago once, so I'm not that fully versed on everything there is in this town. I do know that I had a blast when I was here. I really enjoyed this place. Oh, look at that. Still not a huge fan of these clouds. I still wish that they would consider perhaps going with true sky. I know a number of sims have started to use True Sky. Even Arma 3 uses True Sky. I think that will kick this to the next level if they do that. But I'm not going to complain too loud because I never used to be able to get really good performance going through clouds. They've outdone themselves. Now I can. I don't think I am dipping below 90 frames per second in VR at all. That's just awesome. Alright, let me swing out a little to the left and we'll pass downtown to the right. And then we'll do some fun shenanigans here. Oh, that is so beautiful. It is really a shame that Meigs Field no longer exists because it was such an awesome little airport. And there you see Soldier Field where the Chicago Bears play. The Bears. And there's of course the park. I think you can see the bean from there. Yep, there it is. And we're passing over the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower. I will always refer to it as the Sears Tower. And I believe that is the Trump Tower there, that blue one. I don't know the names of all of these buildings, but I do love the Chicago skyline. It is awesome. They even included Navy Pier, as it would have looked a few years ago, complete with the Ferris wheel. So we're going to go down there and check all of that out in a moment here, as soon as we get through this cloud. Alright, so we'll head out to Lake Michigan. And I'm going to trim us down again here. And then we're going to take it to the deck. What's our altitude here? Just shy of 6,000. Alright. Let's drop our propped idle, or throttle I should say. And we're really picking up speed now. We are currently over 300. Alright, so now it's time to get a little bit funky with the city of Chicago. Oh boy. Yep, BelGeode is definitely back. Let's get our throttle back up here. We pass by Navy Pier, and we're going to follow the river in. Man, look at that. That is beautiful. Alright, here comes the fun part. Woo! Man, that is so cool. Yeah, needless to say, what I'm doing here in this sim would be highly, highly illegal to do in real life. This would clip my wings permanently. But luckily, since this is Aerofly FS2, we can kind of get away with it. I'm thinking I want to follow the river in. Needless to say, that could get a little bit crazy, but we're going to see if we can pull it off here. Oh boy. I'm going to go to the outside for this. Because I was inverted. Woohoo! Let's head back up the river. We'll try not to get so low this time. I'm pretty sure the citizens of Chicago are not pleased with me right now. All the same, though, that is so cool. That is really awesome. Alright, so let's swing out towards the park. And we'll check out some of the skyscrapers on the north side of town here. Beautiful. Exactly what you would expect from Orbx. Everything looks pristine. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Look at that Ferris wheel. Too cool. Alright, we're going to swing south of the airport. We'll fly over Soldier Field. And then we'll overfly the park, see if we can find the bean and get a closer look at it. For now, let's go to the outside view. Alright, so there's a closer look at Soldier Field. The Bears. And here's the park with the bean directly ahead. That's that giant chrome, well, bean-shaped item right there. And we should probably pull up. Woo! Man, I love this. The performance of this simulator is incredible. I mean, I loved Aerofly FS2 before. I still think it is one of the best VR experiences out there, especially if you just want to get in an aircraft and fly. But man, oh man, what a difference Vulkan makes for this sim. None of my other simulators are able to hold a stable 90 frames per second. This is the only one that does that. Now, I guess it could probably be argued that you're only getting bits and pieces of the world, so it's not loading up the entire thing at once. But all the same, look at how many buildings Orbx and IPAX have put around the Chicago area. Not a single one of them is causing any kind of lag. This is truly the smoothest VR experience that I have ever had. It's amazing. I never used to be able to have these clouds here before because honestly, that would just be a nightmare. But even the clouds are behaving themselves. That is wild. I can't say enough good things about what IPAX is doing. And believe me, I have heard that they are coming out with a Robinson R-22 helicopter, and I am really looking forward to that one. So you can expect me to be doing a lot of helicopter flying around the sceneries that I currently have. But yeah, this is still one of my favorite aircraft to be in. So I'm going to take every opportunity that I can to fly around in the F4U Corsair. It just has to be done, man. It just has to be done. Alright, there's a convention center over there. Alright, we're going to turn around over by the baseball diamond. And then we'll start slowing down and begin making our way in. We'll make this a short flight for now. But I will be coming back with some more Aerofly FS2 because there are still a number of aircraft that I've wanted to try, or at least wanted to show you, and I haven't yet had the opportunity to. So I'll be rectifying that in the weeks to come. Alright, but one more pass around downtown, and then we'll head out to the lake and make our final approach. And we'll go back to the outside view to take a look. Okay, so I think my plan is going to be to overfly the airport, and then we'll do a left-hand circuit and come into land. So let me go ahead and drop our power first of all, because we're still at 300 miles per hour. Or is it in knots? I think it's in knots. Yeah, 300 knots then. Alright, so we'll put the throttle to idle. Bring our altitude down to about 1,000. And actually, one of the things that we could do, we could lower the prop pitch a little. There we go. Alright, that'll get us down to speed. Okay, so there's the runway. We're kind of drifting a little bit. The wind is not exactly at 180. Alright, we are now below 170, so we're perfectly fine for putting the gear down. But before I do that, let me go ahead and open the canopy. Warning, it's going to get a little loud. Alright, let's make our turn right here. Do a nice, what is that? Almost 60-degree bank there. No, not quite. More like a 30-degree bank. We definitely don't want to stall. Okay. Alright, speed's looking good, so we'll drop our gear. Ooh, a little bit of a bubble there. That must be some of the aerodynamic changes they were talking about. Let's get our flaps down to 3, which of course is going to make us float up. Let's trim that nose up a bit. Trim for speed around 100 knots. Alright, so there's Meigs Field, looking great. Okay, so we're probably going to want to bring this thing down to about 90 knots before we touch her down. Speed right now is about 98. I'm going to get a little bit of distance from the edge of that peninsula there. Alright, right there should be good. Let's go to the outside view and swing her around. Alright, we're not properly lined up here, but we'll work it out. Okay, speed is roughly around 90 knots. We'll try to hold it there. With the big hose nose in the way, this could get interesting. Kind of dip the nose down just a touch here. Alright, we're doing good. There's the parking lot. Alright, let's see if I can do this without bouncing. Throttle to idle. And we're down. Hey, not even a bounce. I love it. I love it. Alright, but I can't see the end of the runway. I know we're getting there because those planes pretty much mark the end of it. So we'll slow down a little bit here. That was a fun ride. That was quite possibly the best ride that I've ever had in Aerofly FS2. I am so glad that I saw their update post on Facebook, and I'm really glad that I decided to give it a shot tonight, because oh my god, is it worth it. This sim is coming of age. Slowly but surely, it is getting there. It is really getting there. Alright, let's get our flaps up. And then we can head back to our parking spot. So yeah, as always, if you are interested in Aerofly FS2, you can get it on Steam. If you happen to have either the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive, both of them work straight out of the box with Aerofly FS2. And you too can have an awesome time just kind of flying around here. I can't say enough good things about the performance of this sim though. This is incredible. All sims need to have Vulkan in this day and age. I know X-Plane is getting there. I know DCS is on the way there as well. I haven't heard anything out of P3D as to whether or not that's one of their plans. But yeah, all the major sims, yeah, good on you for thinking about Vulkan, because just flying around for less than a half an hour in this sim has already made me a believer. Vulkan is the way to go, definitely. Alright, let's pull into our parking spot here, and then we'll call this episode done. And then we'll be back soon with some more Aerofly FS2 goodness. I stopped here because I want to call your attention to something that Orbx did that I don't believe very many simulation or scenery guys are actually doing. You can see the inside of this terminal. And of course we also have the animated people, which that's nothing new for Aerofly FS2 or Orbx. Orbx has basically been the pioneer when it's come to animated people in scenery. But just the fact that they're there, and the fact that you can actually see inside the terminal. Awesome stuff. More people need to be doing that. It is my hope that a lot of scenery creators will get on board and start doing little things like that, because honestly, it's those little things that mean a lot. Alright, but we're still trying to get to our parking spot here, so hope I don't hit this Ford Aerostar. I know that's a Ford Aerostar because I used to have one of those. Alright, I am thinking our parking spot is right in between this beach and that Learjet. So, let's maneuver our way in, and then we'll be good to go. Right here looks good. Oh yeah, that is perfect. So as I was saying, now is a great time to get into Aerofly FS2. If you just want a sim where you hop in there and fly around, especially in VR, you will not be disappointed. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm also going to be checking out some of the other aircraft upgrades that they've made. In particular, I want to check out things like the Learjet and the P-38 and whatnot, so look for those videos coming in the near future. Can't give you an exact date because my plate is very full, but I'll try to fit in some Aerofly FS2 as much as I can, because I am a believer that this sim is going places. Alright, and with that, I am going to call it done. So thank you, as always, for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Aerofly FS2, and I've been flying around Orbx's phenomenal Chicago scenery featuring Meigs Field, or I guess we could say the memorial to Meigs Field. So as always, if you enjoy what you have seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will be back at some point in time in the near future with some more Aerofly FS2. Thanks again, folks, and I will talk with you really soon. Ciao!